Hi, my name is Lalaina Tingley. I'm a missionary to Haiti, originally from Vancouver, Canada.
My name is McBride, and I am from North Carolina, and we are missionaries to the nation of Moldova.
Hi, my name is Kirstin Paul, missionary to Spain. I'm a missionary's daughter, so I grew up in Central America, in El Salvador and Guatemala. But in the U.S., my home is Nashville, Tennessee.
Hi, my name is Brook Pritt, and I claim Indiana. I'm an evangelist child, so we were kind of all over the place. My husband is from Ohio, and we currently serve in San Leandro, California.
Actually, my husband is the one that first felt the call to missions when we were juniors in Bible college. We both graduated from TBC, and so our mission started then. We went to a missions-minded church immediately following Bible school, and that's where we really felt the burden and started pursuing missions.
Okay, so I was actually in Bible school, and I was just, wanting to serve wherever I could, and God just began to open up doors through She's for Christ first, and then being the missions club president at Urchin, and then just serving wherever I could, and God just began opening doors. So it wasn't like one specific moment of like calling, but it was just taking the next right step, and God kept leading me to missions to the point where I couldn't say no.
When I was 8 years old, we just arrived to the mission field. We lived in Costa Rica then for language school, and felt God giving me that destiny. And it was later confirmed when I was 18. And then it was 18 years later that we actually became missionaries.
So my husband actually started feeling a burden for the Bay Area in 2017. We were out here for a wedding, actually the Johnson's daughter, Megan and Taylor Fairbanks' wedding. And there was a point in our trip when we were in the city that my husband felt like God spoke to him and just said, who's gonna reach these people? We went back to where we were serving in Madison, Mississippi. We were student pastors. My husband told me that he was feeling a burden, and I was like, absolutely not. There's no way I'm going to the Bay Area. I'm not raising a family there. It's so expensive. And so he wrestled with it for a couple years, and I denied it for a couple years. And it was August of 2019 in a service where my husband Nathaniel basically just told God, if this is you, I need you to tell my wife in this service tonight. Somewhere in that service, he was on the platform and I was in the audience. I had no idea what he prayed. I felt it in my heart. Something came over me. My heart started aching really bad. I remember it, and it was like he said, I'm breaking your heart of the things that break mine for the Bay Area. And I knew that's where we were supposed to be. And I went to my husband after church and I said, I think we're supposed to be in the Bay Area, and that was it.
Do it. Go get experience on AIM, Youth on Mission, some type of missions experience, because exposure breeds a burden.
I think the first thing I would do is talk to your pastor. The Lord has an amazing way of talking to our leadership and our pastors before he even talks to us. So talk to your pastor. That would be my first piece of advice.
So I actually just wrote a book, and it's called Here I Am, Send Me, Now What? So if you're interested in going to missions but you're not sure what to do or where to start or where to go, that would actually be a great resource because it's written for people who are in that season.
I mean, obviously, pray first, talk to your pastor first and foremost, and just let God know, I'm open to where you're calling me to. I want to be in your will more than anything, whether it's where I'm here at now, whether it's in another country, whether it's in another state. I want your will above my will. And so pray first, talk to your pastor, and just let God order your steps, and he will.
That's a great question. I think everything, you serve by cleaning the church, you serve in the choir, being a greeter, being on the speaking rotation, teaching Sunday school, helping with youth. I think you need to be serving in all the areas so that you can be prepared, because on the mission field, you're doing everything anyway.
Soul winning was number one. So soul winning, that's prepared me. Getting a desire for that. And then working with young teens, teenage girls first, and then youth ministries. We worked in Spanish ministry, children's ministry with infants. All of it has been a preparation, ministering to people, because That's what we do. So all of that has been a great production. I was also part of hospitality and events, and that has been invaluable. We use that with everything, so thank God for all those things. And the list goes on. We just do wear all the hats. Cleaning the church, toilets, all of it's been very useful.
That's a great question. So I didn't grow up in this glorious truth. The Lord found me, or I found him at 16. I was immediately bathed in so much gratitude that God would want someone like me. So I was in anything that I could get my hands on. So I was the director of greeting. I did choir, I did music, I did administrative work, I did secretarial work, I did anything that I could get my hands on.
So as I said previously, I'm an evangelist child, so I think that had a definite impact on my life and my upbringing and the things that I got to experience and the services that I was around and the presence of God in services that I was around. So I think that helped me. My husband and I served as student pastors for 6 years in Madison, Mississippi under Brother Dylan, and that was an amazing experience. So I would say those are the two main things that I think equipped me, as I was just blessed to be under and around amazing men and women of God and be in amazing, powerful moves of the Spirit. And so I would say those are the main things that helped me personally.
That is the million-dollar question. Some days I feel like I'm balancing it really well, and some days I definitely don't. But we sort of operate under a principle, give and take. And so there are weeks or days when things are not balanced, but we know that we can plan balance into our schedule. So if that means a weekend is really full, like this wonderful weekend, for example, then we know we plan down days and family days for the week to come.
Balance is very important. We know that. So, you put God first and then your family. And that's my husband first, my children, and then ministry. And if we keep that order, we're blessed. We live in blessing and our children will live in blessing. And if we're not stable, how can we minister effectively without falling apart or something falling apart or something suffering? We can't give 100% to everything.
Well, first of all, being a wife, being a mother is absolutely my highest calling. So you got to prioritize your family, and then obviously you do your very best with your ministry, but your family comes first always.
So for me, family has always been number one. When Nathaniel and I moved to Mississippi, it was a whole new world for us. We were just married and we didn't have family there. We didn't know anybody there other than the Dylans, of course. And so it was just him and I, he was my best friend and he is my best friend. And so we kind of learned to lean on each other in that season. And so I think because all we had was each other, it was really easy for us to always have our family first. And so when Everett came along, our son, it was just in us, We always make sure we do things together, just him and I, and then with our son, and we make sure that things aren't conflicting and stuff, and if they do, we try to make it up. We just try to keep the important things center. So, prayer within our family, fun times within our family, and I guess that's how I would say. It's kind of a hard question, especially in church planting, because church planting, you're just kind of all over the place. Nothing is ever on really a schedule, and, so we just kind of have to be flexible, and luckily our son is so flexible. He's our number one, so we definitely put him first and then everything else comes second.
Okay, it's the short version, because I'm really bad about giving you the long version, is that there was a lady at the barn. I stabled my horses. I had horses at the time. She was an apostolic. My mom was very sick and I was looking for a mother. So I tell people she loved me to the Lord. Because not that every 16-year-old knows they're looking for a mom, and I didn't know it, but the Lord knew I needed somebody to come in and love me, and that's what she did. And she loved me to the Lord. To make her happy, I'd go to church just because she gave me so much love. And then at some point it stuck. And to continue my story, the Lord really worked on me because I came from an agnostic, atheistic family. So the Lord was not something we talked about or had anything to do with at all growing up. But when I finally realized this was truth, I was all in. So then I found myself 17 years old and homeless. I was eating cookies out of the church pantry and wearing the same skirt to church every Sunday because it was the only one I owned. But it didn't matter because I had found God. I had found truth. I had found love like I'd never known before. And every sacrifice, every void was worth it because I had found God. And so I'm just so grateful, and I just live in a place of such gratitude because I should not be here. And God has been so good to me.
We grew up in a war-torn country. El Salvador was in war when we were there, and as a teenager I experienced things, you have to rely on faith. You have to live by faith, and you have to hold tight to God's hands because what you see can shake your world. But when you have God, you know that He's going to take care of us. We know that He's going to protect us, and if it's our time to go, well, that's His will, and He'll take us when He wants. And so we don't fear our lives. You just do it all for the Lord and know, hey, He's got it. So I thank God that's taught me, and it hasn't gone away. I still have faith in that, hey, my hands are off because I'm holding your hand. And if I can live that way and continue to live that way, I'm going to be okay. He's a great God. So thank God.
That was awesome.